reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
What's up, everybody? It's the Horror Deconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon, hit that thumbs up. Let people know that you like the show with your host, Komp and
Pink Carnation.
And today's film is
Livid, or LIVID. 2011.
Livid, or LIVID 2011. The suggestion of a big treasure hidden somewhere inside of Mrs. Jessel's once renowned classical dance academy will become an irresistible lure to our
You know what I just realized? My French accent sounds like my Bob Dylan accent.
That's true. It does sound like that. One of the
Are they
greatest.
the same? Are French people just Bob Dylan, like in a country?
They thought he was so cool. There was a movie called Mel Brooks' The History of the World, where like there's a French Revolution scene, and the actress is like talking about complaining how poor everybody is, and she's like, we don't even have a proper words. We just speak with an accent like Maurice Chevalier, and then everybody went oh. All right. Dance Academy will become an irresistible lure to a fiendish trap for Lucy and her friends, directed by Danny, can you believe this? 2 people directed this? Feels like that. Directed by Alexandre Bustillo and Julian
Maybe there was a communication issue between them. I don't know.
Yeah, one was speaking fucking Martian language and one was speaking English. And they're supposed to be French. Written by Julian Maury and Alexandre Bustillo, starring Chloe Collioure, Félix Moretti, and Jeremy Chapon. So, why did I pick Livid? Why? Why did I pick this movie? I'll tell you this.
I mean, you were the one that told me this was your favorite movie. I was kind of surprised as I was watching it.
That was the alternate me from another dimension that I fucked up. Because I'm telling you, the reason why they call this movie Livid is because they're not talking about the movie itself. They're talking about what you will feel after you watch it. Yeah, the audience. But you know how Americans tend to overreact on stuff. So this movie,
this film will never run.
Boy. So this movie is just like, oh boy. I seen the poster for this movie. It's like a girl dressed up as a ballet dancer, and she has blood trailing on her face. And it's a cool-looking poster. I was like, oh, shit, this looks pretty good. Like the poster of it. And I've been hearing about all this time, this is such a great horror movie. It's part of the new French horror movie. You know how when we saw High Tension or we saw Martyrs and stuff like that? It was part of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this in here. But although I did read a review saying it's similar to Inside, and it's like, no, it's not.
Hell no. Inside was fucking great. Oh, my gosh. What, are they kidding? But, so I'd seen that, and I was like, all right, let's check it out, because and then there was another movie called Calvaire that we should review sometime soon, and because I know we saw another French movie called Frontiers. You probably forgot about, like Shaitan. You remember Frontiers? You don't remember
Frontiers? Is that the one with like the diseased kind of vampire
isn't it like
zombies?
Yeah, isn't it like and I thought it was awful, and that was like one of the other ones that everybody thought was great. But you realize when there's like
they just
horror,
like violence. That's what they like.
Right, like, and they'll say, oh, this is just as good as Martyrs, or this is just as good as whatever, and you're like, no, it's not, because there's like horror fans that will like put movies. They'll be like, oh yeah, The Conjuring is good as Hereditary or something. Hereditary, I like,
This felt more like a Lifetime movie combined with like
it certainly filmed like one.
A gothic type of movie or something,
And they fucked up on all chances. So
it wasn't that bad though, but it was it wasn't good. Like,
well, with my expectations, it was pretty awful. You probably didn't know anything about it, so this is a bad movie for me. But anyway, so this movie stars Chloe Collioure. She is I'm wrecking her name. She's probably the only good thing about this movie. Because she has like a traditional French face. Does that make sense to you? Like she has the French nose and everything. She's very beautiful, very beautiful girl. I had to make sure that I was she was of age. She wasn't
respectful.
Like yes. I want to make sure she was like fucking 16 years old in this movie because I'll be in big trouble. Be like Woody Allen going, "You want to be in my movie?
When this was made.
Let's be in my movie." And then you hear like a trumpet behind me. Anyway.
Yeah, but first he would adopt her.
That's true. After knowing her for 25 years. All right. So, oh boy. Can you imagine, Danny? Could you imagine being the wife?
I'm not a fucking sicko.
No, but not being him, but could you imagine being his wife and being like, oh, I'm leaving you for your daughter? I'm not trying to do an anti-Semitic voice. I'm trying to do a Woody Allen voice.
It's okay.
I
I'm a Semite, and I give you permission.
Okay. So Chloe Koyud plays. I didn't even try to do her voice. Her name. Chloe Koyud plays Lucy Clavel. She's this home attendant. She's starting a home attendant job. It's her first 10 days. She's working with, I believe, Catherine Wilson, played by Catherine Jacob.
Catherine's the actress's name. Mrs. Wilson. I don't. Well, is her name?
Oh, really?
She says it at one point.
Oh, it says it in IMDb. This lady cleaned up because she looks absolutely nothing like her herself in the movie. If you look at her IMDb photo, she looks like makeup does a lot of difference because she made herself look a lot older in the movie. So she's helping her doing helping home
She's like
attendants.
the head nurse or whatever.
Which I feel bad for, like, older people that are... I know, having gone through, when you see older people that cannot take care of themselves and they have to have, like, home attendants, especially if you're living in a room.
Making fun of the patients and shit.
That has to happen, Liz, and that happens. That just happens with any job. You kind of lose your humanity because people become, like, numbers and shit. So that's just how it is. I understand that. But, like, if people are cruel, that's different. But if people are just kind of making jokes, you have to laugh at morbid, stupid shit like this. So she's there. Lucy's working with Mrs. Wilson. And I'm expecting, like, fucking Dennis the Menace to run around and do something bad. But they visit this first house. This old guy, he needs a shot. And to me, that's, like, a recipe for, like, just dying home alone. When you live, like, so far. Because, like, in French, like, areas, you're just, like... so remote from something else that you can, like even in the movie they say, look, it'll take fucking like a half an hour for people to get over here and stuff like that. So Lucy is dating, I think, William, right? Playing by Felix Moiti. Will and his brother Ben is around. Will is like a fisherman. He's tired of that life. He wants to get a big score.
And I guess Ben works in their mother's bar or whatever. Yeah.
Everybody's impossibly good looking in this movie. At least the main characters are. They're like all handsome models and shit. So she, while she's they go to this house of this woman. I think, what is her name?
Mrs. Giselle.
Mrs. Giselle, right? So they go to Mrs. Giselle. She is just like, I don't even know how this works because she must be living on off of a machine that's like working 24 hours, like an oxygen machine.
Oh wait, you know what? A guy who made Inside made this. That's what.
It's better he works alone. Let's just say that. Unless
Inside was directed by two people also, Julian Maury and Alexandre Bustillo, or I'm not sure if you do. And this is the same thing. They both.
Oh, so it's the same directors of Inside?
Yeah.
Did they make Inside after? They made this after Inside?
They both directed Inside, and they both directed...
yeah, but what came first? This or Inside?
Inside came first.
Well, so then they fucked up. Something happened.
This is 4 years later. Maybe, I don't know.
They ate too many cheese doodles in between that and in this movie, and it fucked their brains up. Because this is I don't know. I might be overreacting, but it seems like they try to make
for sure. There's an absolute...
disconnect from
Inside.
Surprisingly, these two directors actually made the film Candisha, which is actually watchable. So I don't know, maybe they redeemed themselves a little bit, although that movie does fall a little bit apart at the finale, but it's still worth a watch. It's like a French Candyman movie.
So anyway, now it really is even worse to me. But what happens is that they're taking care of this woman's house. She lives in a giant mansion. The bad thing about this movie is, like, what I have problems with lots of house movies, when you get lost in a house in a movie, you don't know where anything is. You don't know where you are. And not that they should fucking lay out at the beginning of the movie like paperwork, like on screen showing you, hey, you're on the first floor or anything like that. But, like, I don't believe any room is connected to any other room. It just sort of is like...
Well, I was confused because, like, at one point, Ben appears to be sucked into a mirror world, but I wasn't sure how it happened or what happened.
They should just call the movie Just Because, or if you've ever seen that,
like the scene, like the really great scene where the ballerinas are beating him.
That's when I knew I was in trouble with this movie. But it's like that movie, what was it, Rubber? Remember the movie about the tire where the guy at the beginning of the movie does that big monologue about...
You like that one, though.
No, I did. I'm just saying that's the whole explanation for this movie. Like when he says Just Because or whatever, I forget what the thing is. It's just like, just happens, that kind of thing. That's what happens in this movie. That's what this movie is. It's like, it just happens. Just because, whatever.
Yeah,
why
where
not?
were those other? Like, I didn't
I don't
understand.
know. I don't even know who those other people were.
Exactly, because look, they it makes sense. Okay, so Mrs. Giselle is a vampire, I guess. And what's her face? Anna is a vampire. But who are these other girls? They never come back. It never explains them again.
It doesn't, because they
are they saying that there are other vampires in the house that are just like not mentioned?
I had a problem. Go ahead.
Also, Mrs. Giselle is a vampire. How does she age? How does she have white hair? She had black hair in the flashbacks. How does she have white hair 30 years later? She's a vampire.
The movie looks nice, as in like it's got great production value, like design or something. The house looks incredible wherever the fuck they are, whenever they're in the scenes. It's filmed really well. Like everybody looks really good. Everybody's lit well. Although there's like scenes where they'll go into a room and it's like lit all screwy. But like there's. It's like it's a weird production, because like somebody will walk through a door, right? Clearly a door, and then they're going through a fucking curtain in the next shot, and that makes you know. That makes you, like how many of these rooms have curtains? I'm not one of these
people who, like, when you see a character make a bad decision, I'm not really usually the guy to be yelling at the screen like, "What are you doing?" But there was a point in this movie.
There's 2 or 3 times this happens in this movie.
There was a specific point where they saw that little like tea setup thing with those creepy little taxidermy dolls and shit.
Yeah.
When they were broke into the house, and all of a sudden one of the things swivels in the chair,
with
completely
no
obvious at them.
Yeah, with no
and they all
like
are staring at it, and then Will goes, "It's nothing." It's like, what? Like, what do you mean it's nothing?
Like if I saw that, I'd just turn tail and get the fuck
up. I would be running through the wall like Wile E. Coyote.
And then also the part where Will like stands there and like I guess he recognized his brother walking up to him with his face covered in, he's covered completely in blood with a sack over his head.
Yeah.
And then he slowly pulls the sack off, and it takes him like 30 seconds to react. I'd be like, I wouldn't even stand next to anybody with fucking that looked like that, like they just got out of a fucking disaster. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's so stupid. So the whole point of the movie is that Lucy finds out there's a treasure, quote unquote treasure, in the house, and I can only assume Mrs. Wilson, because
no, she put that into their head to get them to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, they kind of explain it that the daughter, I think it's Anna, is the treasure of this lady or something.
Yeah, but I think that Mrs. Wilson was baiting them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because there's a whole scene, but then she also says, she wasn't supposed to be there. So why would she even bother? Because she told Lucy she wasn't supposed to, like, do that.
Well, either way, they wanted her body for the soul switch.
I guess. But there's a whole part where the lady, Mrs. Wilson, is driving on the road, and she drives past this little girl, and it freezes. And then we see her
and then
extracting the blood out of the girl, I guess, to feed Mrs. Jessel.
Or do you think that was one of the ballerinas?
Yeah, now that I say it, yeah. But I mean, like... But did she? I guess that was a bath. That could have been a bathroom inside the house itself, right?
So obviously, Mrs. Jessel was not in a coma because she's a vampire. That was just for show for when what's her face came over.
Yeah, when Lucy came over, or Ms. Wilson. Yeah. But it's just like I knew that it was big trouble. Honestly, that part when the guy goes into the house and he gets sucked through the mirror, and I was like, oh, they're using this sort of weird logic.
So he did go into a mirror world.
Yeah.
Hidden wall.
Yeah, you put him in the mirror world because he was there and then he just vanished or something. Unless they they like.
I thought maybe it might be a sliding wall or something.
But they none of that is communicated well with this fucking movie, because all I know is the part where 3 ballerinas come out, and I guess those are supposed to be the girls that were in the past. Like if you're trying to keep a low profile, like we see a flashback because this is one of those magic reality.
It reminded me of like a fan made idea of a Slipknot video from when Slipknot first started.
You're right. But it's
funny.
maybe
like Mudvayne or something. No disrespect to Slipknot, actually, they got pretty cool going on.
Even if you watch
they're a little gimmicky in the beginning.
But even if you watch the Slipknot where they make fun of The Shining in their music video, it's actually much better than it is than this. And if you watch that, because it's like they put like some sort of weird magic reality, because you have a reality in this film, okay? So this is the type of film where it starts out like, okay, maybe in this setting I can believe there's a vampire if they follow certain logic rules. But then there's no logic. It's like the house is magical for some reason.
Yeah, you have to follow the logic of whatever you... even if it's the most insane thing ever, there has to be something that makes sense to it.
Because once the part with the 3 ballerinas come out and they kill the guy, I was like, uh-oh.
And then you never see them again.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no. Watching it going, this is bad. Like, this is just like... Because it was poorly shot, the way they killed him and everything. It just looked cheap. Like, the way they made it look like was like... I bet you, like, the fucking directors, they were like, oh, we made a bad scene. And then they fucking, like... that was very racist. I apologize to my French people.
Can you be racist towards
I don't know.
European white people? I don't think you can.
But it seems like they just folded their arms and sat back and they looked at each other like, yeah, people are going to love this scene. And it's just like 3 ballerinas and they just stand there. And it looks like...
The thing is, I feel a little bad for the actors because there's no bad actors in the movie.
No, not at all.
They're good. Like, it's just a poor script and
the movie
direction.
looks like B-roll off of like a 9 Inch Nails video, like Hurt, you know, like they just say,
right. It's or like Korn or something.
Because
like that sort of, it feels very like new metal to me.
Right, because there's like it feels like they saw that and they're like, oh, we're gonna make the most sickest, disturbing horror movie, and to me it's like laughable because it's just so stupid. Everything's so dumb. Like there's a part where like. Like Mrs. Wilson, she doesn't come back till the end, like, you know, to like help the bad guys and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the old lady's not scary when they go to the room with the animatronics in there, and they all look at them. They could have done something with that. They don't do anything with that. The boyfriend's a dipshit, and like him fighting with his brother. All of it is just whack. It's just a whack fucking movie. It's
also, the boyfriend's
movie.
so over the top. Like, you break into this house. Oh, you found a corpse. You're going to punch the corpse in the head? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. This whole movie is just so... To me, it's just like... And there's a part where... Like, the biggest fucking mind break of this movie is they do the soul exchange, which is actually... It's pretty, actually, I think, in a way, where they...
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Where they put, like, was it like a larva? What are they called?
Yeah, it was a larva.
They put a larva inside into the crevice of the body, and then like a butterfly. I don't know which kind of butterfly it was. I don't know if it was monarch or whatever.
I think it was a moth.
Okay. Oh, sorry. A moth flies out of their mouth, and then they exchange. So now...
a Mon Mothra.
So now Anna, you know, it's funny. Mon Mothra is like that same actress from the prequels is now playing her in all the shows and movies and stuff because she looks just like the lady from the past. Very useless information. But so the moths exchange. So Lucy and Anna, because I think they try to make it like bonding between Lucy and Anna. Like she's supposed to understand Anna's pain, but Anna's a fucking like monster. She's like a monster running around biting people. Whatever.
Maybe she can't help it. I don't know.
And they switch bodies, right? And then fucking like Anna's fine. Like if I woke up in a crusty ass old dusty body, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like I'd be like,
you mean Lucy?
I'm sorry, right? Lucy's in Anna's body now, right? And they switched bodies, and Lucy's like, just like
she's more than okay with this. I would be freaking the fuck out.
She knows she's able to fly or float.
And if I woke up in Lucy's body, the things I would do, I can't say.
So like, and you can tell
I would be running into that bedroom. And I would not come out.
And did you know when you switch souls with somebody, it also changes their eye color? Because
that's what they did. Drop a little foreshadowing about that.
I know, but like Anna, what's the foreshadowing? Because Anna has headachromia. Because because
Mrs. Wilson said,
"Oh, right, I guess you're right. Oh, you're right. You're right.
You have 2 souls or whatever."
Okay, finally, you're right. You're right.
That was smart writing.
I don't think it's that smart writing. But yeah, they switch bodies, and
it made sense.
It'll physically change the color of your eyes if you switch bodies with somebody, even though you're in a completely different DNA and everything.
The soul,
I get
whatever.
it.
I don't mind that.
Let me
part.
bitch.
Go on.
Let me bitch about this movie. So yeah, and then Anna now Lucy is now able to understand. And they go out in the sun, and but what happened? Like how many years? Like 40 years before, or something, right? Was it like 40 or something years where? She left her daughter in that state she stepped on her back and disabled her, right, or killed her when she was doing a split. That's how she like fucked her up. And then
I was a little confused why she was.
And it took her that long.
I think she was already a mute, regardless.
Right. And she's she treated her daughter like a one of those little ballerina toys, you know, you twist a key or whatever and it starts dancing. And I was like, when I saw the trailer or the poster for this movie, I thought it was going to be like Black Swan, like a horror movie based in a like a ballet company. That's what I thought. Because you just look at the poster and you see a ballerina. That's what you just expect. I didn't think it was.
Little did you know.
Little did I know it was going to be a piece of garbage. And it's just like, it's whack. It's a whack movie. The girl, Lucy knows how to float at the end in the air. They couldn't even have money to show Anna looking at Lucy flying in the air. They just see the back of Anna's head. It's just
Why was she so ready to give up her life and die?
She didn't have it that bad. All she had was a shitty boyfriend. You know what I mean? She was able to switch into.
She had a dad. Her mom killed herself.
Like if it's that bad that your mother leaves your mother's gone, right? That your father's moving in a new girlfriend, that you're willing to be like, okay, I'd rather be a dead ballerina flying in the sky. There was an interesting.
Well, I guess she dies because the sun kills vampires or whatever.
There was an interesting visual where they can't go out on the grounds at night because the house is floating in the middle of nothing in another dimension. Like, they don't explain what that means.
That was like a Beetlejuice sort of thing, but they never explained it.
I don't get it. I don't know because they don't say, "Oh, the land's cursed" or nothing. They don't say the fucking building is flying.
I think they're trapped in that location. It's like the Beetlejuice with the giant worms that kill you if you leave the house. What is in ABCs of Death 2? What is X is for xylophone? Because they directed this also.
I don't know if if it's anything after Inside, it must be fucking awful. But yeah, I don't know. Do you
Hold
see?
on, I'm scrolling through. I'm gonna read what X is for xylophone is.
Yeah, so I just don't know what the hell. I don't know what these people were thinking with this movie. It looks nice, but it looks like it's a complete mess of a production. It seems like this must have been like hot after Inside, where they're like, "Oh, Inside's a hit. You can here's a couple of bucks to make whatever the fuck you want," and they try to make some sort of weird quasi fantasy horror movie, and it's just like really badly made. And I'm just like, I wonder if they still work together. Did you find out what X for xylophone is?
A grandma's grandchild is playing a xylophone badly, so I guess the grandma kills the kid and uses the bones to make a xylophone or something.
One of the many brilliant ideas of
I clicked away from
ABCs of Death. I'm trying to see if there's anything fucking worthwhile in trivia. So this is funny because we'll be doing that French cannibal movie. I think that'll be coming after this episode, or it might have been playing after this episode. Like, that's a good French horror movie. This is not a good French horror movie. This is really bad. There was a reference to Werewolf in London too, right? Yeah. There's a reference to. I noticed that there was the Slaughtered Lamb logo at the beginning of the movie at the bar that he works at from An American Werewolf in Paris. So American Werewolf in London, excuse me. An American remake is currently in development. Why? Who cares?
American remake of this movie?
Yeah. Deborah Jessel obtained her master's degree in dance from Dance Academy, the School of Ballet and Black Magic in Dario Argento. So the woman who, the teacher of the dance in this is what it says in trivia. She got her teaching credit from the school in Suspiria. Like, if you watch the original Suspiria, I didn't even know there was a fucking dance school in that movie. The remake, yes, I remember. But anyway, there's no reason. There's no point to talk about this movie anymore. It's I
rewatch it. It's good. It's good.
This movie is
not this.
No, Suspiria. You're talking about. I think this is a total like a waste of time. I think it's not even worth watching. It's not one of the worst movies I've seen, but there's up to a point where it's just like really bad. The main character is beautiful.
They're not remaking this. It was going to be, but it's not happening.
If you just want to see a movie with a very beautiful woman and two very handsome guys, then you can watch that movie. But trust me, it's not worth watching.
Porn. There are plenty of porns with the same.
Yeah, you do the same. You can see some French pornos, and I'm sure they're much better than this with more coherent storyline. Yes, this is not good. It sucks, and I apologize to Danny for rating this movie. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10. Can't leave your house because it's floating in another dimension. Danny, what rating would you give Livid 2011?
I give this a 5.5 out of 10. Going out of your terrible corpse body and into a full-breasted, beautiful woman, and God knows what you're going to do in your private time, but I envy you.
And with that, What I mean, what if you like warp into the body and then you just start thinking about big hot meat sticks, like big wieners?
And
like,
that's
wait a minute.
fine as long as I'm satisfied. Like, that's good.
And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Red hang up button on Skype.